So hi guys, we already reached day part 3 of our Modern Horizon 2 set review. So this time we'll be venturing into the reprinted cards in this set. We will also showcase some new arts of the reprinted cards, and we will also include here the new list of cards that has 2 or more arts on them. So that will be included in cards that we will wait for a new art in the future sets. So we will start. We will first see what are the reprinted cards here in Modern Horizon 2 that wasn't given a new art on them. So the first one we have here in this list is Angelic Curator. So I think this is the first time it was reprinted. Original card for this one came way back in Urza's Legacy. Then next we have here, same one came from the original Urza's Legacy block. So it's Bone Shredder, but this one is fortunately they reprinted this in Dual Deck Spiration versus the Coalition, but with the same art, and they also kept the same art from way back here in Modern Horizon 2. Here we have Enchantress Presence. They kept the same art here in Modern Horizon 2 that we first saw in the Onslaught pack, and also reprinted in Commander 2018. So the 3 sets that this came from has the same art. Now we have here the card Extruder. So this was originally printed in Urza's Destiny with the same art here in Modern Horizon 2. So let's go to the next part. So this is the reprinted enemy fetch land. So unfortunately they didn't give any new art for this one, but they kept the original art that was originally printed in Zendikar block. So if you are a collector like me of cards with different art, so you will be happy to know that the enemy fetch land already have 4 arts on them. So if you want a set of these enemy fetch lands, so you are able to make different arts for each, just like I'm doing with my cards. I prefer different art rather than same art. First we have here the Arid Mesa. So with this original art that came from Zendikar, this was also used in Modern Masters 2017 edition. No, this is the same art with the original Zendikar art and this Modern Horizon 2 art. So the second art that we have here for it was from the Expedition, or the original Expedition from Battle for Zendikar. So this is the art for this one. So the third art that was introduced to us with this enemy fetches from the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, or Secret Lair enemy fetch land. So this is the third art for the Arid Mesa fetch land. So this was released I think way back March last year. Then the final art for Arid Mesa is the one in the Expedition that was released during September last year also from Zendikar Rising. So it was like long time ago. Next here we have the Marsh Flats fetch land. So the first art was also from original Zendikar block. They also kept this art in Modern Masters 2017 edition when they reprinted the fetch lands, or the enemy fetch lands, and also kept it now in Modern Horizon 2. So the second art of this one is just the same. It came from the Expedition of the Battle for Zendikar. Then this one is the third art of the Marsh Flats that came from the Secret Lair Ultimate Edition, or Secret Lair enemy fetch land last year. And finally we have here the last art of the Mars Flats. It's also from Zendikar Rising. Here we have the next one. It's Misty Rainforest. Just the same as the 4 other enemy fetch lands. He also kept the same art from the Zendikar block in Modern Horizon 2. No? But this also art is being reprinted during Modern Masters 2017 edition. And the second art also came from the Battle for Zendikar Expedition. While the third art also came from Secret Lair Ultimate Edition or Secret Lair Enemy Fetch Lands. And finally, this is our fourth art that was from Zendikar Rising as Expedition. Next, we have here the fourth enemy fetch land. So this is Scalding Tarn. So just the same with the other 4. They kept also the original art in Modern Horizon 2. This came from Zendikar, the original block. Then also being reprinted with the same art in Modern Masters 2017 edition. But it has a new art treatment also in the Battle for Zendikar block as a expedition. While the third art also came from Secret Lair Ultimate Edition or Secret Lair Enemy Fetch Land that came out last year. And the final art to make it a set is this one. So it came also from Zendikar Rising. And finally, to complete the enemy fetch land cycle, we have here the Verdant Catacombs. So the same as also with the 4 other enemy fetch land that is reprinted in this Modern Horizon 2. So they kept also the original art from Zendikar that was also carried out to the Modern Masters 27 edition. But also they have the second art for this one that came from Battle for Zendikar as a expedition foil. Then the third art for this one also came from Secret Lair Ultimate Edition or the Secret Lair Enemy Fetch Land that came out last year. And finally, this art came from Zendikar Rising as a Expedition 2. So this completes our cycle of enemy fetch lands. So next we have here is a split card. So this one is Fire and Ice. So they kept the second art of Fire and Ice here in Modern Horizon. So this art was first introduced to us in a duel deck, Izzet versus Golgari. This same art also was being adapted into the reprint of Ultimate Master and also as a mystery booster or the list card. But the original art of Fire and Ice gone from way back Apocalypse block. The same art also was being used in a Friday Night Magic promotional foil card, and it was also being used in the first Commander decks. Next we have here is Goblin Bombardment. So they kept the second art of Goblin Bombardment from way back. So I think we first saw this one from Dual Deck Speed versus Cunning. This same art also came from Mystery Booster or the list. But the original art for this one came from Tempest Black. Also carried on to the Commander 2013 edition. Then they also kept the original art in Tempest Remastered. And also this original art of Goblin Bombardment was made as a promotional card. So this also came, I think, in foil only. So next we have here is the card Greed. So in Modern Horizon 2, they kept the third art for Greed that we first saw in Commander 2013 edition. This same art also was carried out in Commander 2021. But the original art of this one came from way back Legends. Then they kept that same art in the 4th edition and also in the Classic 6th edition. But when 7th edition came with a white border, so they made a new art for this one. I think this one is Kovacs if I'm not mistaken, no, in the art. On to the next one. This one is Karmic Guide. So Karmic Guide already has 2 art of it. So they kept the second art in Modern Horizon 2 that we first saw in Commander 2013 edition. This same art also came in Vintage Masters, Eternal Masters, and Commander Anthology. So the original art of Karmic Guide came from way back Urza's Legacy. Next we have here another card that is first time reprinted to be Modern Legal. So it's Mog Salvage. So this was first introduced in the Nemesis Black with the same art. Next we have here is Nevinyral's disc. So they also kept the second art of Nevinyral's disc in Modern Horizon 2. So this second art was first shown to us in From the Vault Relics way back, I think 2010. Then they carried the same art into Commander 2013 edition, then also in Vintage Masters, then again in Commander 2014, then Eternal Masters, then again in Commander 2016, Commander 2017, and also in Commander Legends. I think this also came with an extended art treatment for it. But the original art of Nevinyral's disc came way back in the Alpha edition. Also, it was carried into Beta Unlimited and Revised. Also, they keep this art in 4th edition and 5th edition, and finally in the Masters edition. Next we have here is Patchwork Gnomes. So this Modern Horizon 2 art was first introduced to us in Ultimate Master. So they kept the third art for this one. So the original art of Patchwork Gnomes came from Tempest, and that same art was carried into Tempest Remastered. But the second art of this one was seen in Odyssey. So we already have 3 art for this, 1 more to complete a set. Next here is, I think this one will be one of the favorites of Wizard players. So this is Riptide Laboratory. So they kept the original and only art in Modern Horizon 2. So this first came in the Onslaught Black, then reprinted in Jumpstart, and also came as 1 cards in I think Mystery Booster or the list. Now we have Sea Drake. So the same art that was introduced to us during the first Portal 2nd Age Black. Okay. They also carried this out in Masters Edition 2 and Vintage Master. So this same art also in Modern Horizon 2. So they kept this only art, no, they didn't give any new art for this one. Next we have here the 2 seals that being reprinted in Modern Horizon 2. So it's Seal of Cleansing and Seal of Removal. So in here they keep the art of Seal of Cleansing. So this originally came from Nemesis, which was also introduced with the same art in Vintage Masters and Commander 2015. So they kept the same art in Modern Horizon 2, and the same art also was included as a promotional foil. But this Seal of Cleansing has also a second art already that was introduced to us in Eternal Masters, and also included in a mystery booster for the list card. But this other one, the seal of removal, only has the same art from the original Nemesis block. So they didn't introduce a new art for this one, nor was this reprinted with a new art from the past set. So I think this is the second time only to be reprinted, the seal of removal. Next, here we have another first time reprinted card. So it's Solitary Confinement. So this was first introduced to us in Judgment Black with the same art here in Modern Horizon 2. Next we have here is Squirrel Mob. So the same art in Modern Horizon 2 is the original art that came from Odyssey, but this card is also reprinted in a secret lair with a new art. So I think that was secret lair. Hope you like squirrels. I think that was only last year that came out. Next, here we have Sterling Grove. So this art in Modern Horizon 2 is the second art for this card. So this art was first introduced to us as a judge foil, and the original art of this one came way back in the Invasion block. Next we have here Upheaval. So they kept the original art and only art of Upheaval card here in Modern Horizon 2. So the first Upheaval card was introduced to us in the Odyssey Black. They also carried the same art in Vintage Masters and From the Vault Annihilation. I think that was in year 2014. Then finally, to complete our list, we have here it's Yavimaya Elder. So they kept the second art of Yavimaya Elder here in Modern Horizon 2. So I think this art was first introduced to us during Duel Decks Phyrexia versus Coalition, and it was carried on to the first Commander decks. This same art also is featured in Vintage Master, also in Commander Anthology 2, then in Commander 2018, also here in Zendika Rising Commander, in Commander Legends, and finally this was also included in the list cards or in mystery boosters. But the original art for this one came from way back Urza's Destiny. So there goes our reprinted cards that was unfortunately wasn't given any new art. Now, since we finished already the reprinted cards that doesn't have any new art on them, so we will proceed to the reprinted cards that they introduce a new art or variant for the said card. So first one in the list is Cabal Coffers. So we all know Cabal Coffers from way back is uncommon. It was first printed in Torment with the same art in Modern Horizon 2. Also, they kept the same art in Plane Chase and with a FNM foil promo. Now in Modern Horizon 2, they introduced a new art to Cabal Coffers for its borderless form. So this is its new art. Next we have here is also a first timer to be reprinted. So it's Chance Encounter. So here they gave a new art for this card with Yusri in it and somewhat a townsfolk here. So this card was originally printed in the Odyssey Black. Next we have here a card being reprinted 13 times. So counting only the art. So it has already 13 art, but I don't know anymore how many times this is reprinted. So the famous counter spell. Here we see the art they use in Modern Horizon 2. So this art, I think, first introduced to us in Eternal Masters. It is also used when it was reprinted in Masters 25. This same art also is included in Mystery Booster or The List. And finally, it was also used in the reprint in the Commander Legends. Then here we see the new art also as a borderless alternate art in Modern Horizon 2. So this is the newest art for Counterspell. But the first Counterspell was printed in Alpha with this art. Then the same art also was carried into Beta, Unlimited, Revised, 4th edition, also as a FNN foil promotional, also collector's edition. It was also introduced in Masters Edition 4, and finally as one of the cards in the upcoming new Secret Lair. Then this Counterspell, a promo card. This one came from a DCI Legend membership as a promo card. So they have an exclusive alternate art for this one, as you can see here. Then during the 5th edition, we witnessed a new art for Counterspell. So it was featured here is like a mage failing to do a magic. This art was carried onto the 6th edition, also in Starter 1999 and 2000 Battle Royale box set. And this same art also was used as a promo card in the manga Jinsei wo Hakaisuru Sorera wa Sansei Dekinai, or in English, destroy all humankind, they can't be regenerated. So it only comes in foil and in Japanese text. Then 7th edition arrived and we saw another art for Counterspells. This here features a mage or a wizard meditating. Then here in Ice Age we see a new art again. This here now is a female mage asking for something. This same art also is carried onto the Beatdown box set, also in Masters Edition 2. Then in Tempest, we saw another art for Counterspell. So this time it's a red mage. I think a blue mage countered his spell. This same art also is being used in Tempest Remastered. Then we go into Mercadian Mask. We got a new art again with Counterspell. So this time it features a somewhat merfolk wizard. Then fast forward to dual deck Jace versus Chandra. So we see here a new art for Counterspell featuring Jace Beleren. This same art also is being used in Vintage Masters in the dual decks anthology Jace versus Chandra. And finally, the same art that features Jace Beleren was also used in Signature Spellbook Jace. Then in Amonkhet, we saw another new art for Counterspell in the form of a masterpiece or invocation. And last but not the least, we get two art from Strixhaven as a mystical archive. So we have the English art or English version of this one, and the other one is Japanese version with a new art. So Counterspell came a long way to have a lot of this art. Another card that is being introduced to modern format, so it's Cursed Totem. So Cursed Totem now has a new art. This card was originally from the Mirage Black, and the same art from the Mirage Black was also adapted into the 6th edition. Next we have here is also a first timer to be reprinted, and lucky enough it was reprinted here as a modern legal card. So it's Flame Rift, and they introduced a new art for this one. So the original Flame Rift card came from way back Nemesis. Here we have the next one. It's Gorilla Shaman. So Gorilla Shaman is now modern legal, and they have a new art for this one. But Gorilla Shaman was first introduced to us way back Alliance, and it has two art variants. So the first art variant is the facing left variant that was also being used as a reprinted card in one of Cold Snap team decks. Then the other variant of the Alliance Gorilla Shaman card is called a facing right variant, and this art is being used as a reprint in Masters Edition 2. So next we have here is the card Hunting Pack. So here in Modern Horizon 2, Hunting Pack has a new art, but the first Hunting Pack card was introduced to us in the Scorch Black. Then the same art was carried on to the first Commander decks. The same art also is being used in the Iconic Master set, and finally in a Ikoria Commander, or also called the Commander 2020 set. Then next we have here is the card Imperial Recruiter. So they kept the original art of the Imperial Recruiter in the normal set of Modern Horizon 2. This art was first seen during the Masters 25 set, and this same art also is being adapted in the Double Master set. But we are lucky enough to see a new art for Imperial Recruiter as a borderless card. So if you will see here in the art, you can see Kiki-Jiki here as a silhouette, and another creature here which is, I think, is Pestermite, which is like an Easter egg for us on how to use the Imperial Recruiter card, or a like a combo enabler for a deck, especially in the EZ deck. But the first Imperial Recruiter was printed during the Portal 3 Kingdoms set, and it has its own art, and that art was being carried onto the Masters Edition 2. Next here we have Millikin. So Millikin with a new art and first time to enter the modern scene. But this card was first introduced in Odyssey with its old art. Then that same art was also carried on to Eternal Masters, and finally it is one of the cards in the list. Next here we have is Mirror's Wake. So in the Modern Horizon 2, they kept the second art of Mirror's Wake, but we are getting a new art in the form of its borderless counterpart. So Mirror's Wake was first introduced to us during the Judgment Block. That art was never used again. Instead, they used a new art for a Pro Tour promo foil. That same art was also the art in the Modern Horizon 2 this time, but it's also used in Commander Arsenal and Conspiracy Block, and finally in Commander 2017 edition. Now we have here Mishra's Factory. So in Modern Horizon 2, they used the second art for Mishra's Factory, but the original Mishra's Factory card was printed way back Antiquities time, and it has 4 variations. First one is the summer variation, then next is the winter variation, then the spring variation, and finally the autumn variation. Then this autumn variation is also used in the reprint in 4th edition, and also it comes in foil in a judge promo card, and finally as a master's edition reprint. The second art that is also being used here in Modern Horizon 2 was first seen in a dual deck Elspeth versus Deseret. This same art was also used in Eternal Masters, Masters 25, then also in Double Masters, and one of the cards in the list or mystery booster. But we are getting a new art of Mishra's Factory in the form of a borderless variant in Modern Horizon 2. Next we have here is Patriarch's Bidding. So Patriarch's Bidding is again a first timer to enter the modern scene. Here in Modern Horizon 2 we are getting a new art for it, but the original card with the original art came way back on slot Black. And we have here a elf card, so it's Kyrian Ranger getting a new art, and first time also to enter the modern format, but the original art from this one came way back Visions. That same art also was adapted as a Friday Night Magic promotional card. Then here we have a Sanctum Prelate with a new art, but this card only comes as a foil and as a buy a box promo with its retro frame, so it doesn't have any modern frame for the new art of this one. But the first Sanctum Prelate was introduced to us during the Conspiracy Take the Crown or the second Conspiracy set. Next card here is Shardless Agent. So here in the main set they adapted the first art of Shardless Agent, though we are getting a new art for this one in the form of its borderless variant counterpart. But Shardless Agent was first introduced to us during Plane Chase 2012. Then it was reprinted in Plane Chase Anthology, and also a Judge foil promo, also in Eternal Masters, and finally it was also included in the list or a mystery booster card. Next here a updated creature type card, so it's Scourge Familiar. So we are getting a new art for the card Scourge Familiar with an updated creature text here. So now from being an imp, it's now a Phyrexian imp here in Modern Horizon 2. The first Scourge Familiar was introduced to us in the Urza's Saga set. Next card here is Soul Snare. So it's getting a new art here in Modern Horizon 2. The first Soul Snare was introduced to us during the original Commander decks, and if I remember, it was inside the Jeskai Color deck with Zedru. That same deck was then adapted as a reprint into the Commander Anthology. Then it was also used in Commander 2018 and finally in Commander 2021 or the Strixhaven Commander. Next here, a card that I think collectors with different art will surely love. So this one is Vindicate. So we are not getting a new art for the main set of Vindicate card. Instead, they adapted the first art of Vindicate. This same art was first introduced to us during Apocalypse time, although we are getting a new art in Modern Horizon 2 in a form of its borderless variant counterpart. And if I'm not mistaken, this angel in the art is Radiant, which was in the art of Radiant Serra Archangel and Radiant Archangel. The original art of Vindicate that was introduced to us during the Apocalypse time was also used as a reprint for Masters 25. But we got a new art of Vindicate as a Judge foil promo. Then the third art of Vindicate was seen in Eternal Masters with Sorin Markov in the art. That same art was also used in a new Judge foil promo card for Vindicate. Then the fourth art of Vindicate was given to us as an invocation during the Amonkhet set. So I'm happy to announce that Vindicate already has 5 art on it. So for those collectors, you already surpassed the set of Vindicate. So I think we need to start a second set for Vindicate, waiting for 3 new arts for it. Next we have here is the card Wonder. So we are getting a new art for the card Wonder here in Modern Horizon 2. But the original Wonder card was first introduced to us with its original art in the Judgment set. That same art was also carried onto as a Friday Night Magic promo card. Then it was also adapted onto the original Commander's deck. Then again in Commander 2013. Then in Eternal Masters, Commander Anthology, and finally in the Commander Anthology Volume 2. And we reach the final card of this list. So we have here the card Zuran Orb. We are getting a new art for Zuran Orb. So this is the third art for the card. So the first Zuran Orb was introduced to us during the Ice Age set. Then the second art was given to us in a From the Vaults relic. So there goes our list. We have a total of 20 reprinted cards that luckily got a new art for them. Either it's in the main set or as their borderless variant counterpart. So finally, we are proceeding to our last section of the video. This last section will be the new cards that has 2 art on them. This list is only short, but this will add on to our collection of alternate art cards. So the first card we have here is Scion of Draco. So here we see its original art in the main set, and finally its borderless variant counterpart with a new art, of course. Next we have here a new sword for those sword lovers. So it's Sword of Hearth and Home. Here we see the original art of this one as in the main set. Just looks like the other sword from way back, like Sinew and Steel, like the reprinted version of the other swords like Body and Mind, and the other swords that form these cycles. Then here we have its borderless variant counterpart with, of course, a new art. And finally we have here the Elemental Incarnation cycle of this set. So we are getting 5 cards with 2 art each. So the first one we have here is the white one. So it's Solitude with its original art here in main set. Then its borderless variant counterpart. The second we are getting is a blue card, Subtlety. So here is its main set art, and other is the borderless variant counterpart of it. The third card that we are getting is Grief. So this is its main set art for the normal art, and finally its borderless variant counterpart. fourth card that we are getting is Fury. So this is the original art of this one. Then it's borderless variant counterpart. And finally, last but not the least, is the green elemental incarnation Endurance. So here we see it's normal or the original main set art, and the other one is the borderless variant art of it. So this is a new cycle of cards that is introduced to us in Modern Horizon 2. So I think we already reached the final part of this video. So a total, we are getting a lot of reprints and newer cards that has alternate art on them. So this will be a good time for those who wants to start collecting alternate art of cards. So I think this video will be a good use for those who want to take note of what they are getting reprints with new art on them here in Modern Horizon 2. Hope you enjoyed the video and hope I can make another video like this one for the upcoming set Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, or the Dungeons and Dragons Collision with Magic the Gathering. So as of now, I already see a lot of cards that have alternate art on them. Hopefully you can join me again by that time. So have a great day and thank you.